I know I said in my last review that the next book I'd be reviewing was The Declaration by Jim O'Malley, but I gave the old college try. Read about 100 pages, meh. And for me, it just couldn't be done. I thought the writing was lazy and really juvenile, which I know sounds ironic considering it's a young adult book, but so is Harry Potter, and that's written really well. Something that really bothered me about this book, and bothers me about a lot of books nowadays, especially with a female protagonist, is this whole damsel in distress scenario. I don't know why the heroine can't be more badass. I really don't like this whole meek, feeble, incapable heroine who relies on some dude to show up and kind of show her what's what and teach her the ways of life. Take a lesson from Katniss Everdeen. She kicks ass. The book I decided to read instead was Unwind by Neal Schusterman, which was fantastic. It, like most of the things I've been reading lately, is a young adult dystopian extravaganza of awesomeness. And I could not put this book down. I read it in about 6 hours. It takes place in the futuristic United States, post-war time. A second civil war has been fought over abortion. There was a pro-life army and a pro-choice army. Subsequently, abortion has been outlawed, but to appease both sides, parents are now able to retroactively abort their child between the ages of 13 and 18. If they're troublemakers or if they're just, unsatisfactory, I guess. These children are called unwinds, and they're sent to places called harvest camps, where all of their vital organs and bodily tissues are taken and given to other people who need them. This book was horrific, but it was awesome. Character development was so solid. Even characters that you don't see often had such a detailed backstory, especially considering that some of the characters were so young. One of the main protagonists was only 13 years old, and he was probably the most complex character in the book. Nothing was unnecessary or gratuitous, but it was definitely an uncomfortable read, in a good way. I promise it's a good thing. I found myself kind of clapping my hands over my mouth and holding my stomach because things were just so horrifying, but it was never done in a garish or outlandish way. It always made complete sense. It was artfully heavy without going over the top, and I really appreciated that. Honestly, I don't know how this book isn't a worldwide phenomenon. I guess maybe just because certain people would throw a stink over the underlying messages or whatever, but the author is incredibly objective throughout the whole thing. At the end, it's hard to tell what side he's really on, and really, I think what this book portrays is that it's an argument no one can win. It's a sucky situation no matter how you cut it, and sometimes it's okay not to know the answer to a question, which I actually think is a really beautiful message, because so many people struggle and claw their way through all this nonsense just to get to just to get an answer, even if it's wrong. When saying that you don't know something would be a much more peaceful route.